Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Coach Naz, and in today's video, I want to talk about the 5 types of women that you should avoid, even if she is super, uber, duper hot. All right, so it's really not about the looks, right? Of course, you need attraction, and that's really important, but it's also about the impact that this woman is going to have on not only your life, but your children's life, if that is something that you want to do, your well-being. And if you, and I speak to a lot of older men as well who have been through divorces and failed marriages. And so, they unfortunately have found themselves attracted a lot of toxic women. And this is not about blaming toxic people, but it is about taking accountability for why you allowed this type of behavior to occur in your relationship, and why didn't you have boundaries or standards when you were dating. And it's if you get I'm trying to be very, very kind here, but if you get a woman that is, unhealthy and she's going to drain your energy, this can ruin not only your life, but take from all this, men, one of the main things that men, are programmed to do is to work, to provide. And if you are putting all this this energy and sacrifice into building your business and like learning all of these things to build an empire, making all this money, and then later on you find yourself get started to dating again. Wow, I did not even I haven't even started the video. You get started again. You start dating again. And then you attract a woman that is really unhealthy for you. But since you have not worked on yourself, you have not understood what are the right kind of women to date, or even tried to learn about it. And then guess what happens? After a couple of years, that's going to fail. This woman is going to take away all of your money, custody with your children. Like, it gets really, really bad and really toxic. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a coach, because I've been through all of this. I've been through some BS and painful shit. And that is why I want to come back to all the people that are, dating and having fun and enjoying life. I want you to enjoy, but I just want you to be a little bit more aware and conscious of the kind of person that you're going to invite into your life. Okay, let's get right into the video. So also, what I wanted to do, I wanted to give you a little bit of, it's backed by studies. So I want to also give you guys that. So let's get right into it. So the first point that I want to make is a woman who plays games. Okay. This is the biggest red flag, because what happens here is that 1 minute she's hot and the next minute, she's cold. So 1 minute she's super into you, and the next minute she's like, oh, I'm not into you. I don't really like you. I don't really care for you. And, this creates distance, and also, she's unresponsive, right? So it really creates confusion in your mind. You're like, does she like me? Does she not like me? And so, and the reason why this can be dangerous, there's research on relationship dynamics, in 2017, basically shows that emotional unpredictability creates anxiety and insecurity. It leads to unhealthy attachment patterns, making you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. There is nothing on the planet. I don't care how good looking this woman is. I don't care how big her butt is. I don't give a shit. It's gonna mess you up, like big time. It's gonna damage you. And people say like men are very strong and all that kind of stuff, which is true. But a woman, you get a bad woman, she can really mess you up. So I just wanted to let you guys know, this is why I always say be aware of the kind of people that you're dating. And don't be in la la land. It's not just men, women as well. We all are living in la la land. I mean, I definitely was living in la la land. That's why I ended up getting a divorce, right? And so why to avoid? Okay, so again, I also already mentioned this. It's gonna mess with your emotions, and it's going to make you feel insecure, not only in your relationship, but it's going to make you feel insecure in your workplace, in your job, with your, just being with yourself. It's going to bring up all these emotions, and also manipulative behavior. It stems from a desire to control, and it's not real connection. Right? And the way to fix this is, if she's not consistent and genuine, walk the F away. Okay? Up and down, this is not what a relationship is consistent. Somebody who loves you is going to think about that's more, I was like thinking about your mom, but my mom was hot and cold. So, I can't even give that example, but think about someone who has been there for you, no matter what. Let's say, maybe a healthy parent or a friend or whatever. They don't go up and down. Like, if you're having a bad moment, they're still going to be there for you. So use that same mindset for a relationship. And trust and stability should be the foundation of any relationship. So, for example, let's say this happens, more often than we'd like to admit it, but if she cancels plans without explanation or sends mixed signals, right, don't chase her, because a lot of men do this, where you're noticing these things, and I guess it's a lot to do with social media and people that talk about these things, where they say, if she says no, it actually means yes. And, all these kind of things and games. And it's like, no, it should be very clear. Hey, I'm really into you. I want to get to know you. I want a committed relationship. It shouldn't be so confusing. And it's like you're on a roller coaster. It should not feel like that. And also, studies show that consistent communication and emotional reliability are key to a healthy relationship. So if you feel like a lot of saliva in my mouth, that's really weird. I don't know why I said that. Okay. If you feel like something like that is lacking, there's no communication, there's no emotional reliability, check yourself. Say, hey, is this the relationship that I want to bring in children? Is this the person that I want to really marry? Even if she's amazing in bed? Ask yourself these questions. Don't avoid, because the more you avoid, the more going in the direction of losing your money, losing your house. Like, it's all, and I'm not mean to scare you, but I'm just trying to be honest with you, because this is what I see every single day. Now, the second point is the woman that does not respect your boundaries. And I hear about this all the time, where men just let things go and they don't really follow up and call women out. No, call her out. Tell her that, hey, this hurts me. This is not something that I'm going to accept in my relationship. And the red flag here is a woman who disregards your need for space. And also, she maybe will push you into uncomfortable situations. So just make sure that when these things do happen, you notice these patterns, because people always show you who they are, but we choose to not believe them. So the only difference here is you're going to notice it, and I want you to choose to believe the person that she's showing you that she is. Because what we do sometimes is we look at the potential, like the dream, like, oh, we're going to get married, we're going to have children, all these kind of things. I mean, probably that's more women who do that. But no, there are men out there who come and tell me, hey, I want to get married. I want to have kids. So not really. I feel like it's both parties, but it's just more women who are upfront about it. But to me, men come and tell me all the time they're looking for children, they're looking for a family. So I'm going to disagree with myself. Okay. Now, why this is dangerous, because I'll let you know. So there's a research from the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships confirms that when boundaries aren't respected, resentment and frustration is built. And so boundaries are vital for emotional well-being in the relationship. And boundaries, basically, people get worried when they hear the word boundaries. All it does is it's explaining to another person how to love you. That's all that it is, really. Because when somebody crosses your boundaries, what does it make you feel? It makes you feel unsafe. It makes you feel anxious. So if somebody really, truly wants to love you and wants to be there for you, they're going to understand your boundaries and not challenge them or not try to push through them. and make you feel bad for having these boundaries. That's again that's really bad red flag. Why to avoid this is because a person who doesn't honor your boundaries isn't just showing a lack of respect for you, but she's also, what she's doing, she's setting the stage for deeper issues down the road. So at first it might seem very little. It might seem like, oh, it was just a little argument. We came back from the club and it was this little thing that we had, and you just let things go. And then, in a month you have two more of those. And then in a year you have like 10 of those, and it keeps on building. It keeps on getting, more louder, more harder to get out of these arguments with her. And so it is really important to make sure that you set the tone at the very beginning part of your dating experience, and not wait 2-3 years to then say, oh, you know what, this actually, this makes me uncomfortable. No, you have to do this at the very beginning. Of course, if you're just learning about boundaries, I'm not, don't for sure use your voice to stand up for yourself. But for all the people that are going to start dating right now, please set the tone right now. Don't wait right before you get married to then start speaking up. Now, the way to fix this is, if she pushes you, if the woman that you're with pushes you beyond, what you're comfortable with, then you have to, of course, communicate that. And if this keeps on as a pattern, you got to go. There's no other, there's no amount of love that can fulfill you. It's always going to feel unhealthy. It's always going to drain you. So that's my biggest tip. And for example, if she pressures you into making fast decisions in the relationship or into intimacy, this is a big, big telltale sign. Somebody who, and I've been in the relationship like this where, somebody love bombs you and they want to get intimate with you really fast. And what this does, because they're very smart, they're manipulating you. That's one thing you need to understand about narcissistic or toxic personalities. They are trying to get in your head, and they're trying to change how you think, trying to change how your opinions. And so it's really important that you don't, it's usually the man who will initiate, mostly, intimacy and stuff. So, if something feels off about a woman getting onto you, check that. Ask yourself, does this feel good in my body? Now, there's also, actually, no, I'm not going to say that part. Okay. So the third point, I'm trying to make this video not 30 minutes today. So the third point I want to make is that a woman who constantly seeks validation. Okay. The reason why this is a red flag is because she's always fishing for compliments, for attention from either you or even other men, or reassurance about how she looks and how worthy she is. And so it's really important to make sure that it's critical that you make sure that, you notice these things at the very beginning. And especially with like toxic and narcissistic personalities, they can't handle criticism, so if that's another point I want to make is if she's not able to, it's not like you're criticizing her, like, oh, that look is really crappy. But like, if you just don't agree with her, you say like, I actually don't agree with this. Watch her reaction. Watch how she reacts to that. Because that's going to tell you a lot about who she is as a person. There's actually a study that shows those who constantly seek external validation tend to have lower self-esteem. And so this creates an imbalance, which then results in jealousy and insecurities in the relationship. Now, why this is such a big challenge is because when a woman, constantly is looking for you to validate her and make sure that, the relationship is okay. Are we good? Are we good? And she's hyper vigilant because she wants to make sure that, you're not going to cheat on her, or you're not going to, be disloyal to her. This creates, this makes you feel like you can't even trust yourself because she doesn't trust you. And then these are where little lies tend to start appearing out of nowhere. because you're like, oh, I don't want to have an argument. I might as well just tell her what she wants to hear to keep the peace, which so many men come and tell me all the time. Like, I just don't want to argue anymore. I might as well, just lie about it. And people get so used to living a lie, yeah, which is, it's really sad, honestly, to hear that. But the validation that a man gives a woman is not enough, and vice versa, is because nobody can validate you. It will never be enough, because the only person that can validate you is you. There's no one else. And this is where your relationship with yourself matters so much. And this is why I work with men on your identity, on who you are. Are you whole and complete before you go and start dating? Or are you looking for somebody to fill a gap, fill a void within you? Now, a healthy relationship requires both partners to feel secure within themselves, okay? Otherwise, it's going to be challenging to create a healthy bond with that person. Now, the way to fix this is simple. Look for a woman who doesn't need constant reassurance, and knowing that confidence comes from within. So making sure that the woman that you do date, you ask questions, you get to know them. What does confidence mean to you? Ask these deep questions, talk about these things, because these questions that you ask, they're gonna come out with some very telling answers, and you're gonna understand them so much more deeper and better. And an example, let's say, okay, so if she posts a picture for validation on Instagram or social media and constantly is asking for compliments, it's a sign of insecurity. All right, so that's a great way to also know. Now, the fourth point that I want to make is that the woman who drains your energy, okay? So she's like a little bit of like a vampire, okay? She brings constant negativity, drama, or unneeded stress into your life, and the reason why this is dangerous is because studies show that spending time with I wish I knew this when I was younger, but spending time with a negative or emotionally draining people can have significant impacts on your mental health, leading to stress and fatigue. So even if you're like subconsciously you're not realizing it really causes a lot of damage to your mental health. And in fact, 2019 study in Personality and Social Psychology bulletin found that negative individuals decrease overall relationship satisfaction. And I've definitely felt this in my past relationships, where it's like I'm the one that's like a bit childish, I'm a bit silly, and then I have my partner who kind of like suppresses how I feel and doesn't allow me to be my true self. And also they're very negative. I'm somebody who's kind of surrendered to the universe. That's just my personality. And the people that I attracted to, majority of them, they were very black and white, like life is just against you and you have to be very careful with what you do. Like I have a very different mindset. So that's one of the reasons why I couldn't truly reach my not my limit, but I couldn't really be that happy. I guess my limit. Yeah, I couldn't really reach that. And slowly that level kept on decreasing. And then by the time you know it, after you're in this kind of, when you're in this relationship with somebody who is negative, majority of the time, it's not all the time, by the way, it's most circumstances, they're a bit negative. It causes you to also then start to be a little bit negative. You are the culmination of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And if your partner is negative, guess who's going to be negative? You. And also, again, people think negativity just affects your relationships, but no, this affects your life. This affects your money. This affects your business. It's all interconnected. And so you need somebody in your life who lifts you up, not somebody who adds unnecessary stress into your life. Now, the way to fix this is, if you feel like this is really important. If you feel like you're mentally exhausted, after spending time with her, take a step back. This is so important, guys, because what we do is sometimes we hang out with people, but we never check in with ourselves. Like, how do I feel after I leave them? This is a huge telltale sign if somebody's negative or positive. I've got a lot of people in my life who, when I'm with them, my energy is just, it's just gone. When I get back home, I'm like, I need to take a nap. Like, I need to sleep for like 2 days, So just make sure that you check in with yourself and ask yourself these questions. Now, for example, she's constantly complaining or creating drama over the smallest of things. It's time to reassess. Time to ask yourself and reflect. Now, the last but not the least, the fifth point, not last but not the least point that I want to make is that the woman who has no life outside the relationship, please make sure that you write this down, okay? The reason why this is so important is a woman who is not, she doesn't have meaning, she doesn't have purpose, or she doesn't have goals, she doesn't have hobbies, she doesn't have passions, or she doesn't have friends outside of the relationship, and she expects you to fulfill her emotional needs. So not only now you have to, work on yourself, but now you have a child. It's literally like a child that you have to constantly, be there for them and make sure they're okay and they're having fun, which is going to be very difficult, by the way, for them to have fun because they're negative, right? And so this is one of the, I think people don't, understand how important this point is. Now, the reason why this is so, dangerous is because research shows that codependency, where one partner relies on the other for their emotional well-being, is linked to unhealthy relationships. This is one of the biggest factors. Because again, it's draining your energy, the energy that you could put to yourself and your happiness and your goals and your aspirations, your dreams. You're putting it on somebody. You're putting that energy onto somebody else. And also, according to a 2018 study in the Journal of Couple and Relationship Therapy, a lack of individuality leads to emotional exhaustion. Exhaustion and dissatisfaction in relationships. This is simple, right? So just make sure that whenever you're dating somebody, watch out for this. Also, why to avoid this? I mean, hopefully I've given you enough answers by now, but you need someone who has their own passions, who respects your need for for space and growth. I remember this one time I was dating this guy and he just needed to call me like all day long. He just couldn't get off the phone with me. He needed to come over. He was always in my space and I was drained. I was like, bro, like I need my time for myself. And so, I mean, I didn't call him bro. I don't know why I said that, but it's really, really important for somebody to respect this is where if you have boundaries, we don't need to have this conversation. So the next part of this is so look for somebody, the way to fix this, look for somebody who is independent and has her own life outside of the relationship. So she's not, all of her events and life does not just revolve around you. She has her own friends. She has her own hobbies that she has. And so if she complains, by the way, for example, when you need time for yourself or always checks up on you, this could be a sign of emotional dependency, right? And maybe ask yourself, some men like this. They find this connection, great for them. But if you really want a healthy relationship, this is not going to lead you to a healthy relationship. All right. So those are the 5 points that I wanted to bring to you guys. Now, if you guys, again, have any questions, you have any suggestions for other videos, please put it down below. Also, as I always mentioned, I'm offering free 30-minute strategy calls. And so if you want to know more about dating, about, creating a plan to get you unstuck and get ready for dating and love in 2025, then click the link down below. And that's it. I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video.